He's Marler, and this is his music show.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another craptastic episode of the Marler Music Show. I am David. Hope everybody's doing well today, and I am doing a review today of the Three Doors Down concert over the weekend here in Atlanta. It's a show that me and my wife had been looking forward to for quite some time. They're kind of a old school post nu metal band that was very popular the first few years. And one that I liked immediately, and I've kind of liked over the years. They've put out a lot of good stuff, most of it off their first few albums, but they're still really good live, and their music is still, it stands the test of time. So it was them, and the opener was Candlebox, a band that came out kind of in the middle of the grunge era, one that didn't really have a grungy sound, although it was kind of placed into that a little bit. Band that, had their first album, had all their best songs, the two or three really good ones, and that was about it. But they managed to stay around for a long time, and still got the same lead singer. A band that's pretty entertaining. So anyway, the show started off last night with them opening up. They did an 11-song set, most of which I had heard a lot of it, but didn't remember some. Like I said, they came out in the mid '90s and was a band that I kind of liked initially, and just kind of put to the side over the years or whatever. But still had a couple good songs that I've liked and listened to. So we'll run down their set just briefly here. They started off with "Don't You," which I remember. "Change," "Blossom," which was a fairly decent song for them. "No Sense." Then they threw in, I believe it's a new song that's coming out on their album that is being released this coming Friday called "What Do You Need?" Not too bad of a song. You can tell it's them. I don't think it's something that's going to make them explode again, but one thing about them two are Three Doors Down now, they're getting a little more exposure. And I actually was looking on Spotify; they've got over 1 million listeners on Spotify. So, that's nowhere near the top, but it's more than a lot of bands do. And so that says something right there, at least about their few singles that are standing the test of time. After that, they did Arrow, Mother's Dream, which was a very angry type song, lyrically especially. Um, he Calls Home, Cover Me, and then their last two songs were their most popular, and the two songs that I've listened to quite a bit over the years, and that is Far Behind and You. Um, Both of those songs are really good songs. They still come off great live. And I'm gonna tell you something. Their lead singer, and I don't know his name, but and I'm sad to admit that both of these bands I don't know the ins and outs of a lot. I'm just reviewing a show that I went to. It was a good show, but their lead singer, and I don't believe there was any kind of backing track or vocal, tricks going on here. He sounds pretty much the way he sounded almost 30 years ago. You could close your eyes and listen to that, and you would swear up and down you were listening to the actual CD. His voice has held up very well over the years. I'm sure he's taking care of himself and taking care of his voice, and it really showed last night in his performance. So they go off the stage, and about 30 minutes later, Three Doors Down comes on, and this tour is their 20th anniversary celebration of their second CD, Away from the Sun, which, like I said, their first two really put them on the map. The first one was really good. The second one was really good, and it's kind of hard to say which one was better because they didn't change their sound a lot, although they had some different sounds within those two albums. But they, they put them out pretty close together. I remember seeing them off of both of those first tours in Memphis when I was living up there. In fact, I remember, I think on the Away from the Sun tour, they took out Shinedown, and Shinedown was, they were touring supporting their second album. Um, uh, and As the first time no, the second time I'd seen Shinedown, but it was a really good double bill. And so Three Doors Down and Shinedown actually toured together quite a bit. But this tour is an anniversary celebration of that second album. And they did pretty much every song off of it, I believe. So I'm going to run down real quick the set list here. They did Pop Song, which is one I'd forgotten about, which is a pretty good song. Nothing great. I'm not going to say it's a great opener. I think a better opener would have been Duck and Run, which they did do later on. Then When I'm Gone, great song, little ballady. They did Away from the Sun, the title track. The Road I'm On, another very good song. Ticket to Heaven, I'd forgotten about. Is a pretty solid track itself. Ticket to Heaven and Let Me Go. I didn't remember those two until I heard them last night, and I remembered them vaguely at best after hearing them. Running Out of Days, I remember that song. Uh, Another very good. And this was kind of surprise number 8. They did Here Without You right in the middle of the set. I was kind of expecting that to be towards the end, maybe last song before the encore, one of the encores, but they did it almost smack dab in the middle of the set. And that's probably one of the songs, if not the song, that put them on the map and kind of kept them there. Then they did number 9 was I Feel You. Once again, didn't remember it until I'd heard it again. It's Not My Time. It's Not My Time was on, I think, their third or fourth album. Came out, I believe, in 07 or 08. And probably one of my top 2 favorite Three Doors Down songs of all time. I just love that song. I think it's absolutely great. Be Like That was another big hit off their first album. That album had a lot of songs that were really, really good. Duck and Run, which also falls in my top 2 probably of Three Doors Down songs. I love that song. Like I said, to me, that would be a perfect opener, just the heaviness of it and everything and the energy that it gives. Dangerous Game. I didn't remember that at all. That was very obscure to me. Changes is a good song, obscure song, but one that I kind of had forgotten about. Then they went into Loser, which is one of their bigger hits, and that was a very good song live. And then last song before the encore was a song called Sarah Yellin, which I love, and that rounds out the top 3 favorite songs for me from Three Doors Down. Just love that song. Once again, it's a little heavy. It's got kind of an angry tone to it, kind of angry lyrics or whatever. And I'm so glad they did that. I absolutely love that song. And then they went off stage and came back and did 2 songs. The first one was Landing in London, which the original version of this was actually recorded with Bob Seger. He did some of the vocals on it. That's a really cool song, especially if you listen to the album version of this. Hearing Bob Seger on it is, I'm sure that was a fantastic experience for that band to have Bob Seger come in and do a track with them. And then they closed out tonight, which you can probably guess it if you're doing process elimination here, the one song I have not covered yet, and that is Kryptonite, which is that's the one that everybody knows. That's like their Rock and Roll All Night, or their Stairway to Heaven, or their Freebird, or name some other big bands and their biggest song. That's the one right there, Kryptonite, which is probably a perfect closer. It was they look, they've been around for 25 years or so, and they can still bring it. They still got the chops vocally, musically, can still get the crowd into it, and the crowd was singing along pretty much all night, especially to the hits. And it was a sold out show, which most shows here in Atlanta are. There are not too many bands that come through here that play at a decent sized venue, which this was probably about, if I had to guess, a 10,000 size amphitheater. There are 3 amphitheaters here. This is one that it's the first time I'd been to this particular venue. The setup was kind of weird with it. It kind of reminds me, if you've ever seen anything done at Red Rocks, it kind of reminds me of that situation, the way it's set up and built and everything. The acoustics were great. It was a little difficult to get around in. But one thing I did love about it was the spaciousness of the seating. It was like bench seating with backs, but you probably had 3 or 4 feet in front of you in the next row, which was fantastic. Usually you don't get that. Usually they're crammed like a bunch of sardines, but not at this place. But yeah, it was a sold out show. Like I said, most shows here in Atlanta are sold out. If the artist is semi popular, they sell out here. Um, but yeah, it was a very good show. The crowd was really into it, and I'm glad me and my wife went. We had seen them a few years ago back in Memphis at a small club venue. They did an acoustic set, which was really cool. And this is the first time I've probably seen them, plugged in and do a full set in probably, I don't know, gosh, 13, 14 years or so. So I'm glad we decided to go, and we had a good time. And I would definitely go see them again if they were to roll back through or had the opportunity. So I earlier in the week, in fact, the day after the show, I'd filmed about 8 songs, and I have uploaded that as a whole onto the channel as well. And I will post a link down to it below. If you can't find it that way, you can go right to it. Um, the video quality is not the best. The sound I think is really good, and it'll give you an idea of what kind of a show it was. And I also uploaded that day the last the 2 songs that Candlebox did that night, and I'll link that in the description below as well. So anyway, just wanted to give you a quick review of that concert and my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me, if you went to the show, what you thought about it, or if you've seen them on this tour, what you thought about the performance. Maybe we can have a conversation. I always appreciate and encourage feedback from my viewers, and look forward to talking to all of y'all as much as I can. So, anyway, I'm going to sign off, and look forward to speaking with you soon with another episode. And until then, I will say, as I always do, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and life will be good to you. Peace.